In the damp darkness of South American swamps, a giant creature arose that stretched over 40 feet long, weighed more than a ton, and could crush a crocodile in a deadly squeeze. This was Titanoboa, the shadowy predator that ruled freshwater domains. For millions of years after the ultimate rulers, the dinosaurs, vanished forever. But if today, in the mysterious Amazon rainforest, Titanoboa still lived, what would happen? 6 million years ago, a catastrophic impact ended the age of dinosaurs. The Chicxulub asteroid not only wiped out the giants on land, but also triggered harsh changes in global climate and environment. As fearsome lords like Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, and Mosasaurus disappeared, Earth entered a new age, the Paleocene. And in the quiet darkness of steamy forests and humid swamps, another giant emerged to become the new ruler, Titanoboa. The Paleocene world was nothing like Earth today. After the extinction, the planet recovered in a harsh environment where the climate was hot and humid, with average temperatures 6 to 8 degrees Celsius higher than today. South America, especially, the region that is now Colombia, was once a vast ocean of forests and swamps where early mammals, ancient crocodiles, giant turtles, and countless fish thrived. It was here that Titanoboa reigned for millions of years, becoming the largest snake ever known in natural history. Titanoboa was not just large, it shattered every standard we ever imagined for snakes. Fossil evidence shows it reached lengths of 40 to 50 feet, the size of a double-decker bus with an estimated weight of more than 2,000 pounds. This made Titanoboa 2 to 3 times bigger than today's largest snakes, such as the anaconda or the Burmese python. Just imagining a 50-foot snake sliding through a swamp is enough to strike fear into any creature. It could coil around a large tree trunk, lie in wait, and then unleash a crushing squeeze with strength far beyond what any animal in that ecosystem could endure. Titanoboa had no venom. Like modern pythons and anacondas, it killed by constriction, but the difference was in its immense size, which made its strength nearly absolute. A single squeeze could shatter ribs, rupture organs, and kill its victim within minutes. Simulations suggest Titanoboa's constricting force could reach 400 pounds per square inch, the equivalent of placing a car on its prey's body. With such power, even creatures considered living armor, like ancient crocodiles, stood little chance of survival once caught in its coils. Titanoboa was not only powerful but also a master of stealth and ambush. Its body was long and heavy, yet it glided silently underwater, hidden among mud and aquatic plants. When the moment came, it lunged out, clamped its jaws onto prey, coiled tightly, and dragged it to the swamp floor. This was the perfect tactic in dense, flooded habitats, where victims often never realized death was already upon them. Titanoboa was not a picky eater. In the ancient environment, it hunted all kinds of creatures, giant fish, turtles weighing hundreds of pounds, even crocodiles and other reptiles. Some fossils even suggest that Titanoboa may have eaten its own kind, a survival strategy common in such a harsh world, where any opportunity could turn into a bloody feast. Picture a giant turtle swimming lazily through the swamp when suddenly, the water ripples and a massive shadow slithers forward, wrapping around the turtle's shell. Within minutes, the dense shell is crushed under an unrelenting squeeze. That scene repeated itself for millions of years, making Titanoboa the true terror of the Paleocene. One of the most intriguing mysteries is why Titanoboa could reach such enormous size while modern snakes are so much smaller. The answer lies in the ancient climate. Higher temperatures allowed ecosystems to sustain giant animals, and since snakes are cold-blooded, the environment's warmth determines their metabolism and growth potential. With hot, humid conditions, lasting millions of years, Titanoboa had everything it needed to grow to unprecedented proportions. In addition, the abundant food supply from ancient fish, turtles, and crocodiles played a crucial role. This energy-rich environment was the banquet table for Titanoboa's exceptional growth. Titanoboa was not simply a big snake, it was living proof of nature's rebirth after the mass extinction. When the dinosaurs vanished, Titanoboa appeared as their successor, filling the power vacuum in the food chain. For millions of years, it ruled at the top of the ancient swamp with no natural enemy strong enough to challenge it. The very existence, of Titanoboa has changed how humans perceive prehistoric Earth, showing that even after dinosaurs were gone, nature continued to produce new monsters to uphold the brutal law of survival. Titanoboa was the dark ruler of the Paleocene, but it did not live alone in that world. Sharing the hot, swampy environment of ancient South America was another fearsome predator. Ancient crocodiles, the distant ancestors of modern crocodiles. As Titanoboa stretched dozens of feet across the water, crocodiles lurked in the shadows with jaws strong enough to crush bone in an instant. The question arises, if these two giants clashed, who was truly the master of the swamp? Crocodiles had already appeared more than 80 million years earlier and survived countless geological upheavals. During the reign of Titanoboa, they were already extremely dangerous predators. Some ancient crocodiles could reach 23 feet in length and weigh nearly 2,000 pounds, much larger than modern crocodiles. Their greatest strength lay in their terrifying bite force. Studies show that crocodiles could bite with up to 3,700 pounds per square inch, stronger than any living animal today. With a single snap, they could crush turtle shells, break thick bones, or even shatter the skull of their prey. Not only powerful, crocodiles were also masters of ambush. They hid just beneath the water's surface, exposing only their eyes and nostrils. When prey drew close, they lunged with terrifying speed, clamped down, and dragged it underwater to perform the death roll, a spinning twist that quickly broke bones and drowned the victim. If Titanoboa was the killer constrictor, then crocodiles were the bone-crushing machines. Titanoboa used its massive body and muscular strength to squeeze prey to death, while crocodiles relied on lightning-fast bites to kill in an instant. Titanoboa excelled in patience, stealth, and finishing with a crushing embrace, lying in wait for hours for the perfect moment to strike. Crocodiles relied on speed and bite force, not prolonging the fight but usually ending it immediately with a fatal snap. Both were pinnacles of evolution in swampy environments, but with completely different survival strategies. Imagine a sunset in the ancient swamp, where a 43-foot Titanoboa slithers silently through the mud, while on the opposite bank, a massive crocodile waits in ambush, its eyes locked on the moving shadow. Neither was an easy target, and if fate decreed, a deadly battle would erupt. The first strike would see the crocodile lunge, its thunderous bite aimed straight at Titanoboa's body. If the jaws connected, the force could pierce muscle and cause serious injury. But Titanoboa was no sluggish log. It would coil its body, wrapping around the opponent as the crushing force began to work, compressing the crocodile's ribcage. The crocodile would thrash, using death rolls to escape, but each spin would only tighten Titanoboa's grip as the sound of cracking bones echoed through the murky water. With the advantage of length and full body constriction, Titanoboa would likely prevail in a drawn-out fight. Yet with just one careless moment, a lethal bite from the crocodile could change the outcome. Still, it is hard to say which was truly the ruler. In nature, supremacy does not always mean victory in a single duel. Titanoboa may have dominated with size and power, but crocodiles held advantages in speed and species diversity. Titanoboa was the undisputed ruler when it came to domination, through fear, with no creature daring to challenge it for long. Crocodiles, though perhaps outmatched by Titanoboa in some encounters, endured for tens of millions of years, adapting persistently to survive into the present day. This leads to a fascinating paradox. The giant Titanoboa is extinct, yet crocodiles still live on. Could it be that patience and endurance are the true rulers of time? No matter who might win in a hypothetical battle, the truth is that both Titanoboa and crocodiles played crucial roles in maintaining the balance of the ancient swamp ecosystem. Titanoboa controlled the populations of fish, turtles, and even young crocodiles, while crocodiles hunted smaller prey and competed for food, preventing the system from tipping into imbalance. The presence of both turned the Paleocene swamp into one of the fiercest battlefields in natural history, where every creature had to remain vigilant every second. But no matter how mighty, the reign of Titanoboa had to end. The disappearance of Titanoboa was tied to massive changes on Earth after the Paleocene. Around 58 million years ago, the global climate began to cool, with temperatures dropping sharply compared to the age in which Titanoboa had thrived. As a cold-blooded reptile, Titanoboa depended entirely on environmental warmth to maintain metabolism. When the climate cooled, its colossal body, 50 feet long and weighing tons, became a burden. It needed high temperatures to digest food and sustain strength, but the new environment no longer allowed it. At the same time, the diversity of large fish and turtles, its main food sources, also declined, leaving Titanoboa without enough energy to survive. Meanwhile, new predators and competitors arose, from evolving crocodiles to increasingly intelligent mammals, gradually taking over the ecosystem. All these factors combined led to the extinction of Titanoboa, a giant legend buried in the past with only fossils left to tell the story of the dark era after the age of dinosaurs. But if Titanoboa still lived today, could humans keep their position as rulers? The Amazon, the largest tropical rainforest on the planet, has long been called the lungs of Earth. Covering more than 2.1 million square miles across several South American countries, the Amazon shelters millions of species that science has yet to name. Beneath its dense canopy and powerful rivers lie countless secrets still beyond human understanding. And because of that mystery, the hypothesis that Titanoboa never went extinct always sends chills down people's spines. Imagine in the Amazon night. The waters are calm with only the hum of insects when suddenly the surface stirs, and from the depths a massive shadow rises. A 50-foot Titanoboa weighing tons lunges forward, coils around a caiman crocodile, and vanishes into the murky water. With such strength, Titanoboa would surely become the new apex predator of the modern food chain in no time. The black caiman, currently the largest reptile predator in the region growing up to 16 feet, would be nothing more than a light snack compared to Titanoboa. The jaguar, the most fearsome hunter on Amazonian land, famed for biting through crocodile skulls, would stand little chance of survival when facing Titanoboa in the water. Amazon river dolphins and giant fish, creatures that dominate today's waters, would all become potential prey to Titanoboa. The return of Titanoboa would overturn the entire ecological order of the Amazon. As an apex predator, it would not only threaten large animals but also trigger cascading effects across every level of the ecosystem. Populations of crocodiles, river dolphins, and large mammals would plummet, leading to abnormal booms or crashes among many species of small fish, amphibians, and even birds. A giant like Titanoboa would become the center of power in the Amazon, where every creature was a potential prey. The Amazon is already brutal with anacondas, caiman crocodiles, piranhas, and countless other predators. But if Titanoboa was still alive, it would tower above them all, turning this land into a place far more terrifying. The Amazon is not only wilderness but also home to millions of indigenous people and a destination for scientists and travelers. The existence of Titanoboa would create a true nightmare. One Titanoboa could silently approach a small boat and with a single coil drag both humans and vessel beneath the surface. Amazon expeditions would become journeys of life and death, with researchers facing not only insects, disease, or crocodiles, but also the risk of meeting a 49-foot shadow under the water. If Titanoboa roamed the rivers, humans could hardly travel safely by boat, the lifeblood of Amazonian transport. It is not hard to imagine Titanoboa becoming a national obsession, a legendary creature surpassing even the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot. Although the idea of Titanoboa still alive is fascinating, science shows it is highly unlikely. Titanoboa thrived in a time when Earth was hotter than today, and the Amazon's current climate is no longer ideal to sustain such a colossal body. A 50-foot Titanoboa would need an enormous amount of food to survive, and with humans heavily hunting many large fish, turtles, and aquatic mammals, its food sources would quickly vanish. With sonar technology, drones, and modern biological research, it would be almost impossible for such a giant creature to remain completely hidden without leaving evidence. Yet the Amazon remains one of the least explored regions on the planet, with scientists estimating that up to 80% of Amazonian species have yet to be documented. Could Titanoboa be among them, lurking silently beneath layers of deep mud? Even extinct, Titanoboa still lives in the human imagination. It appears in documentaries, video games, and even science fiction films as a symbol of primal terror. If it still existed, Titanoboa would completely change the way we view humanity's place in nature. Today, we confidently see ourselves as rulers of the planet with superior technology, but a single encounter with Titanoboa would shatter that illusion. Humans would be forced to admit that in nature's shadows, forces exist far beyond our control. Titanoboa vanished with the Paleocene, but its image has never left our imagination. The deep sea has megalodon, the ancient oceans had mosasaurus, and the Amazon perhaps once had Titanoboa. So if one day an infrared camera recorded a 50-foot shadow sliding beneath the Amazon River's surface, would you believe Titanoboa had returned from the darkness?